Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and boy, the stupidity just won't end. But this is the internet we're talking about, so I'm not even surprised at this point. And just FYI for some of you with weaker constitutions, maybe some kind of heart problem, I'm calling out a group of idiots on the internet for unfairly making comments about Wizards of the Coast and their products. Yeah, me. Because I have a brain unlike these people. So everybody's up in arms over Ultimate Masters without seeing a card list. They are complaining about the nature of something without the number one most important detail. In fact, I'd almost say the only important detail, which is how many good cards are in it and what are they worth. Basically, 100% of the complaints are the price. I don't think I've even heard anything else. Well, except for the card quality, obviously. It is unforgivable that they're printing this in two languages, Japanese and English, and they're not using the Japanese press to run it off. It's indefensible. There is absolutely no excuse for it if they're going to charge more money, and yeah, I'm pissed too. But when it comes to the price increase, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If they put better stuff in it that's worth more money, I would expect to pay more money. Crap gets real crooked and real shady if something is like worth double or triple what you paid for it, okay? People will be stealing it. They'll be lying about it. Distributors will be charging Rudy from Alpha Investments $10 more per box to allocate them away from actual gaming stores that need that product to stay in business. If that sounds suspiciously like a really specific example, that's because they're already doing this, because people who aren't idiots know that this is going to be the best Masters ever printed. Even if the rest of it was complete and utter jank, the 40 cards that we know of would inflate the EV pretty damn high. That's the average expected value to pull out of one box, like as an absolute blanket average. It's also an epic Pokemon that evolves into like 8 different other ones. You know what, everybody? You can get out the pitchforks and the torches after next Monday, when we're going to start seeing spoilers. In fact, they made it sound like they're just going to drop all the spoilers on Monday, but I mean, I would think at least by the end of that week, we'll have a full list, and people will be able to do value calculations to see what you're getting for your money. I mean, if you're looking at like a Mossberg 500 shotgun, and then you're looking at like a Benelli M4, and you're like, oh, how dare they charge more? That's a ripoff. It's a better gun. You get more for your money, you idiot. It's not apples to apples, and speaking of not apples to apples, what other Master set had a box topper worth an average of $95 to $100 in it? In my opinion, they actually didn't increase the price at all. They actually lowered it. The box topper is worth around $100. So you take that off the price, $235, that's $4 less than the last Master set. Oh, this isn't even math. This is like relative comparison of objects. I mean, this is like shit they teach in kindergarten. I don't understand how people can be this stupid. I don't think they can look past Wizards bad, me bash Wizards, price go up, me bash Wizards. Wizards is always wrong, and no matter what they do, I'm going to complain about it. Like, people like that exist. You know they do. And people have accused me of being like that, except every time they do something good, I make a video praising them about it. You must have missed those 100 or so videos. Like, what the hell? People say, quote, all your videos are negative and bashing Wizards and bashing the game. That's because I want stuff changed, and putting pressure on Wizards has made them change things in the past. So anyway, I'll be the first one to dump on Wizards if it's deserved, but I mean, people have also said with this whole Ultimate Masters thing that I'm completely biased and have a completely different perspective than the average player because I'm a single seller and I'm excited because I'm going to make money on this. I'm sure this influences it, but if there was something that made me money but it was horribly detrimental to players, I wouldn't miss that side of it. So let me flip this on those people. You don't have to buy this at all. You do not have to buy this product to play the game. In fact, you will benefit and it'll be easier to play the game if you don't buy this. It's just like masterpieces that people were like, oh, they're so greedy, they're so greedy. Then don't buy the masterpieces. And then people's only response was, but I want them. Well, wake up, bro. There's a bunch of shit that I want that I can't afford. That's life. That's how economies work. Unless you're going to pull a legit genie lamp out of your ass and start rubbing it, not everything you want in life is going to be affordable by you, no matter how much money you have. Like, even Elon Musk can't buy the entire continent of Africa and turn it into one giant paintball arena. Nobody has that much money. I would do that. I would absolutely do that. I mean, it would bring in some tourist dollars. You can't, say that it wouldn't. So people whining about, wah, I want this because it's cool, but I can't afford it. That is not a legitimate complaint, you idiots. Like, it looks nice, the cards are cool, and they're expensive, so I want them. Well, I could say that about just about any product. I want a nicer car. I want a nicer TV. I'd say I want a nicer computer. I think this is actually pretty sufficient. Could use a nicer monitor, though. I could use a nicer security system. Like, there's no argument to be made that a nicer, higher tech, better, more effective security system would be great. I want a better scope for my AR-15. Doesn't mean I can afford any of this crap. That's just how life works. Get over it. So to those immature, entitled whiners, shut the hell up. Now, for people saying, I want the cards in it, I need them for my commander deck or my modern deck, I've been wanting to build something like this, and a bunch of the cards are in line with what I want, so I want to buy this. When in the entire history of Magic has it been a better way to open packs one at a time until you get the card you want, as opposed to just buy the single online or from your local gaming store? It's more efficient to do it that way, unless you luck out and pull it from the first booster you open. Call me crazy, but I wouldn't count on that. So if you're just saying, oh, a bunch of cards I like or want or need for my deck are in this set, I want to buy it and open it but can't afford it, just buy the singles. And then we get to, anytime they do a reprint, the card price goes down, with tiny little exceptions. A tiny amount of the time a card went up because it went onto people's radar and people started putting it in decks and then it actually went up. But other than that, if you've just been waiting on a bunch of these cards, but you're like, oh man, $50 is a little too expensive for, I don't know, what, a Snapcaster? I don't even know what they're at these days. Oh, I really want a Tarmogoyf, but they're just too expensive. I just can't drop that much money on it. Well, here's your chance. Ignore this entire set, don't buy any of it, wait a couple days, and ta-da, the singles are all half off. The release of this just benefited you, and you didn't have to buy it at all. Now let's throw in the fact that if you did buy one box, I have a very strong feeling that there is going to be some serious power in here, like money-wise. I shouldn't even say power, I should just say value. I think the box EV will be $450 on a bad day and $600 on a good day. And that's like a week out from release, because remember, once people start actually opening it, it goes down a little bit. Usually a year later, the cards start going back up, and honestly, people are saying this is a bad investment. Not really. I mean, we've seen some staples in the Mythic and the Rare slot so far, so, yeah, they're going to take a price crash in the immediate future, but every one of these cards just about is in a pretty damn famous deck, or it's very wide open. Like the Manlands, those are in quite a few different decks. I mean, if they put in the best of kill spell, best of counter spells, like put Disallow in here, cards like Birds of Paradise in here. People put Birds of Paradise in everything green, basically. Snapcaster, you'd say he's only in one modern deck, but really, he's just so good, people put him in commander, people put him in side decks. If they put really famous lands in here, I'd say all the shocks, but that would be crap timing. I'd say all the fetches, but I don't think they're going to do that, but if they did, great. Those are universal. You know that people are going to need them, and you know that they're going to go up in the future. So if they put enough staples in here instead of really obscure, specific, narrow cards like Scapeshift and Crucible of Worlds, or Tron lands, which I actually feel like probably will be in here, it's going to have some staying power with staples. That's just how it's going to work. If they put in really specific stuff, it's going to crash, and it's not going to come back anytime soon because the supply will drastically overshadow the number of people actually building and playing with the deck. And they might as well have called this Staples Masters, because that's what it is. I'm extrapolating it based on the 40 cards we've seen. It could be completely different once we see the full deck list, but I see the direction they're going with what we've seen so far. So in all likelihood, if you were to buy it and say, oh, I had to pay an extra $100 for it. First of all, you got the blue pack, which is worth $100. So there's that. But assuming you don't count it that way for some dumb reason, like if you just buy 100 of the blister packs, those triple packs at Walmart, okay, now you can factor it out and they did raise the price 16%. Okay. I have a feeling the cards in it will make the price worth it. So you could actually open one of these and be expected to gain in value above what you paid in almost any likelihood, according to what we've seen so far. And FYI, if this looks hot, I don't know if you've seen eBay lately, but a lot of the major sellers are sold out, and the cheapest box you can buy right now is $280, with the person above it being $285, and the next one above it being $290. It is way up from the $260, $265 numbers that it dipped to at one point. That means just on pre-orders, pretty much everybody ran out, and remember, nobody knows how many they're getting yet. I asked a bunch of store owners, nobody knows yet. In fact, according to what my distributor said, they don't know how much they're getting yet. And I'm going to take a wild guess based on Wizards' past actions with similar products and with Standard. They're going to significantly short the first run. They did it with Eternal Masters and they did it with Dominaria. Bare minimum, if not other sets past that. So that means the second wave is going to destroy the value pretty good, but in the interim, you'd be able to get 300 plus a box on release day. I feel like it's going to exceed 335 to be perfectly honest. Now, if they release the card list and the whole entire rest of it is garbage, which would be shocking, this would be pretty bad. I mean, that would be 3 bad master sets in a row. My laundry's done. Okay, we're back with fresh laundry. Now I can stop recording in my skivvies. So if the entire rest of the card list is terrible, oh my gosh. This would just be fire sold. I'd be getting rid of it basically at cost after shipping and fees, and everybody would be pissed. It's possible considering Iconic Masters and Masters 25, but remember, 2 giant failures in a row when Hasbro and the investors and the customers were all pissed. I feel like it's virtually impossible that they would make the same mistake again. It's just not going to happen. And why would they be like, well, let's try it again and make it $100 more expensive? Like, that's doubling down. There has to be something behind that new price. What I think is they just threw in everything, including the kitchen sink and the kitchen finks. And then they were like, we could probably get an extra $100. I mean, this EV is like $700. Like, come on. And then some other person said, well, we got to justify it. We can't just say, hey, we're charging more. Take our word for it. There's better stuff in it. We better throw an extra pack in the top and make it some limited super premium whatever, just to make people happy and make it look like you're getting more for your money, even though the cards could stand alone on their own, just in their value, and justify the price increase. So what I think is, without the box topper, it would be 500, 600, 700 with, just the cards in it. And then there's the box topper. So all the evidence, all the logic, all the typical corporate reaction, and the amount of time that's passed since the last Masters set, the 40 cards we've seen so far, everything is pretty heavy evidence that the set will be insane from a value standpoint. It's so obvious even Rudy gets it in his videos. He's like, no, you're all being stupid. It honestly should probably cost more. And he's 100% right, and here's the final reason why. When they said, quote, this set is not for you, they meant 2 things. 1, either you're so rich that $300 and some doesn't really even matter to you, you just make so much money you don't care, and you're such a big fan of Magic, your collection's probably worth a couple grand as it is, and you're just gonna open them, keep the cool cards, maybe trade some, and just whatever, it's binder fodder, and $300 ain't gonna kill you. Maybe it's like a 10-year veteran of Magic or even more. They've been playing forever. They take it seriously. They love it. They like having collectibles. And if it's not this, they'd be collecting something else that's equally expensive. So the really high-end customer, that's who it's for. And the other 99% of the product is for Card Kingdom. I like to mention them because I think they're the biggest, although MTG Mint Cards probably does higher volume now that I think about it. Nobody ever talks about them. Those guys are awesome. I love them. Now, Channel Fireball and Troll and Toad, they can just suck it. But anyway, this set is for the single sellers. It's so that they can open it and sell it and make money. I mean, it's not just, oh, let's prop them up and give them money after Ixalan and Amonkhet were disasters because Mark Rosewater went freaking bonkers with energy and it was unbeatable. And by energy, I mean color fixing and the number of sets legal, because that's what the actual problem was. There was nothing wrong with energy itself. But anyway, no, this is not just about, oh, let's make them some money for once. Oops, we're kind of putting local gaming stores out of business. Let's sell them this. This is about singles markets. And I don't mean people opening these boxes and selling what's inside it on day one. That is money, but at a certain point pretty quickly afterwards, it's not going to be worth it. So that's a temporary little thing, and you can apply that singles sales margin numbers, whatever, to like any product they release. What this is, okay, Snapcaster, Tarmogoyf, and Liliana cost too much. People are not willing to drop, 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks on these cards. They're just simply not building the deck and not playing Magic. So what we're going to do is we're going to flood the living crap out of the singles market with all the cards in this reprint set. Remember, it's a 100% reprint set. And then hopefully the cards will be $20, $30, which would put it more in line with some people's price range. So then they will buy the cards and they will build more decks. And that's just how it works. So when they say this isn't for everyone, they mean it's mostly for the entire worldwide availability of each individual single included in this set. In other words, this set is for you, the player, as long as you don't actually buy it. The whole point of expensive money reprints is to bring the price down so that you, the player, can actually afford to play the damn game. That's why it's 100% reprints. That's why you don't need to buy this product directly. You need the cards that are in it. Nobody but drafters was supposed to buy a pack of this, and I guess gamblers and huge collectors with too much money. Once again, let me reiterate, nobody needs to buy one single pack or box or anything from Ultimate Masters in order to play Magic the Gathering. It is not required in any way. You can continue to buy singles in order to play the game, which is really the correct way to play the game. That's the most efficient way to build a deck, everybody. It's not exactly a secret. And oh, look at that, they just helped you with it. So let's see, how many of a win-win scenario is this? How many times can we say the word win? Local gaming stores, it's a win because they're probably going to sell a couple boxes in packs and whatever and add about a 30% margin. So there's huge money in their pockets. Win there. Wizards takes the value of all these cards and pockets it because they just reprinted them all and they get 100% of the value from it, not counting anything added by, distributors and people actually selling it. So instead of some card hoarding assholes and people who run buy lists and people who buy out cards and have 100 copies of whatever, instead of absolute pieces of human garbage like that, making all of the money off of the popularity of a card, Wizards makes the money on their own card they designed, on their own actual product. I've got no problem with Wizards saying, you know what, secondary market, screw you. This is our game and we deserve the money if something becomes popular. So we're going to print another version of it and pocket the money. Get over it. We never guaranteed that this would have an upward trend forever. In fact, Magic, if you ask any of the old time people who invented it and who have been at Wizards for 20 plus years, they said it is not for investors. They do not want people buying up and holding hundreds of copies of a card. That's not what it was designed for. It's asking for an impending disaster. It's meant for the players. In fact, I believe it was Richard Garfield said no card should ever cost more than $20 except for some, custom limited edition, like promo, collectible, whatever. And what do we have? Well, we got buyouts and buyouts and buyouts and people hoarding cards and buy lists and special buy list offers so that, a handful of people can own 50% of all the Snapcaster mages in the world that aren't in decks. And they make the price go up and up and up and they get to be the gatekeepers that keep people from playing Modern. Well, isn't that nice? And you guys don't even know how much money, the sheer volume of profits these people are making for doing stuff like this. They need to be stopped because what they're doing is they're taking money out of the players' pockets and putting it in their own pockets. Just because the player had the audacity to want to buy a card and build a deck and play the game. How dare they? You want to do that? Oh, you go through me and you pay triple. Screw those people. Get the hell out of our card market. Get out of our economy, you dicks. Sincerely, Wizards and their 4 master sets in 2 years. If they reprinted every single card to death until every single card that people could conceivably want in the history of the game that isn't on the reserve list, because that's a whole different disaster, cost $10 or less, that would be wonderful. That would be a wonderland of amazingness, in my opinion. You know why? Because Jund wouldn't cost $2,100. People wouldn't look at my Black Death deck and say, oh, well, this card's 12 apiece and Urborgs are like, what, 30? I don't know. I think they were reprinted. I don't remember. Well, for sure, my Beholder deck where the meddling mages are like $40 a piece. You shouldn't have people saying, oh, that looks fun to build. I want to play with that. Cool. That's like a little side deck that's not like number 1 in the meta. Ooh, it's $300. Just because by sheer coincidence, one of the cards is in a tier 1 deck that people are all copying. That's bullshit. And let's go down to instead of the investors, the actual players, because people make this argument all the time. But I spent $50 a piece on this card and now they put it in Ultimate Masters. So by the time they're done printing it, it's going to be $20. Yes, you spent the money. Spent it. It's gone. You paid money in exchange for a product with no guarantee that you would get that money back. I mean, you show me the document that Wizards mailed you with Mark Rosewater's signature on it that says, we absolutely solemnly swear and guarantee to you, if you buy a playset of these fetch lands, they will be worth the same or more in the future. That's not called spending money on a product that you use, that's called investing, which is unpredictable and bad in the Magic world. If you bought a card for $30, you risk it going down, or I guess if you bought a card for $3 and all of a sudden it shoots up, you risk it going up. I mean, it's obviously not the right word. Anything could happen. That's why everybody tells you you're spending that money. Consider that money gone, okay? You don't know what's going to happen. What if you buy one of the top net decks in Modern and then, oops, that deck's not viable anymore because some new decks came out, which, if you weren't paying attention, just happened. Well, such is life. It's the same luck as, oh, Wizards randomly decided to put it inside of a reprint set. Oh, well. At least you'll have opponents to play against. I mean, it's not all bad news because people can actually afford to play Modern. I mean, yeah, it sucks. Okay, you lost a little bit of money, but let me ask every single one of these people who's going to complain about this. When were you going to disassemble that deck and sell it? I'd love to hear your actual legitimate answer. Because you and I both know that the answer is never. Oh no, the value went down on something that I wasn't ever intending to sell in the next foreseeable couple years in the future. Well, then nothing happened. You didn't lose anything. It doesn't matter. You're not getting paid dividends or interest on your deck's value. So, I mean, I'm just tearing down argument after argument after argument about everything about reprint sets. We need reprint sets to make the game affordable, and why the hell shouldn't Wizards get to pocket some money on their own game and their own cards because some of them are popular? Good for them. Their creation appreciated in value. Now they can make some money off it. I don't have a problem with that. Yu-Gi-Oh! Does it all the time, and a lot of people at this point don't have a problem with that either. They know from years of past actions that if a card gets too expensive, they're going to reprint it. That's just how they do things over there. It's come to be expected. I wish everybody in the Magic world would have the same mindset. But they all think they're day traders. They all think they're such clever singles investors until everything crashes down in huge numbers and then they blame Wizards. It's your own fault. You risked the money. Don't go whining to Wizards because you invested in something that had no upward trend guarantee whatsoever. So hopefully people hear this video and stop being so damn stupid about Ultimate Masters. It's not the worst thing ever unless we see the card list, and it is. One of the only legitimate concerns is I would have bought this, but they just put it out of my reach. Well, what use did you have for it? If you want cards in it, just buy the cards. Like, you just wanted to buy it because you like gambling? Then you're the one with the problem. But if you're like, I just enjoy cracking packs and it's fun to me, or I wanted to draft this. I legitimately wanted to play a draft with my friends with this, and now I can't because it's, X% more. Okay, yeah, that sucks, but I mean, this is a reprint set. It's really the draftability. They play it up on Wizards side and in their PR side. It's an afterthought. It's a completely secondary thing. The real primary purpose is to get these cards out there, lower the price, and just take the value and print it again. It is what it is. Stop lying to yourself about what the product is and isn't. And just everybody stop being so damn stupid. And I assure you, as soon as we see the full list of cards, if it's 100% bulk garbage, you're going to hear about it in a video from me. Oh, it's going to be more than one video. And it's going to be angry. But until then, there's really no reason to rage about this product. There just isn't. Everybody's sky is falling. It's the worst thing. It's so greedy. Rawr, rawr, rawr. Would you rather they did 2 master sets this year and made them both suck and lowered the price 30%? Because that's the exact same thing financially. I mean, it is. Sell it for $150 a box and the EV is $250 and then do the exact same thing again. Or you could just take all the value cards, put them together in one set and sell it for $335 and have the box EV be 500 plus. It's literally the same thing. It's the exact same thing mathematically. In my opinion, and I would predict that's what they're doing with this. I mean, people have even said it word for word. This is Masters 25 and Iconic Masters put together, and then they just raised the price a little bit because they kicked out all the jank and put in the actual value. If they just decided to make Master sets keep being valueless crap but then lowered the price to match, I would have a problem with that. Going the opposite direction, making it more expensive and putting more value in it, I don't have a problem with that because I know how to do math. So please, anybody who's spouting off a bunch of uninformed bullshit on social media, send them a link to this video and force them to watch it. Seriously, duct tape them to a chair. I'm just kidding, don't do that. But hey, in the meantime, I mean, if you agree with everything I said here because you have a functioning brain, there is a lot of advantage to be taken in this scenario. I've said it before and I'll say it again. People who deal in magic products are emotional, overreacting morons on the whole. So if you take whatever they're saying and doing and do the opposite, you'll probably make money. Everybody spread the word that those purple gift boxes from last year around Christmas were bad, and I made like $1,000 profit on them. Why? Because they cost me about $11, and I sold the lands in them for about 13% on eBay. And then I had booster packs on top of that, which I also sold. It's almost like math is the thing. It's bad because I don't like it, and the investor's like, no, I'm not touching it. Okay, well, or you could just ignore those people and get out your calculator. I mean, you could do that, act like a person who knows what they're doing. You should see how many of that product I bought this year. So in this set, I mean, a lot of sellers who are either paranoid or are just like, maybe this will be okay. I'm getting it for $200 a box. I'm going to pre-sell it on eBay for $260. Then at least no matter what, I've got an insurance policy where I will make, $20, $30 a box profit. And there you go. I'll finally make money on a master set. It's pessimistic but safe. Well, guess what safe gets you when everything's pointing in the direction of, hey, this is going to be expensive? It gets you a lot of lost potential money. It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Some people might have maybe lost money on Iconic or Masters 25. I didn't. But then again, I was pretty damn close to breaking even. So, okay, I guess if people are like, whatever, I don't trust Wizards, I'm going to get out of this. Like, I don't really blame them, but ooh, they're going to be kicking themselves. So what I would recommend is anybody who believes my side of things and Rudy's, and I could name several other people who are seeing right through the pessimism into reality, and they know which direction this set is pointing so far, put in one of those $270 pre-orders. Not a bad idea. The worst that can happen is they're like $370 the day before and the vendor just refuses to ship it with some BS reason. You report them to eBay or whatever, and then they get kicked off the platform and you get your money back. And then you buy a box for full price. So I guess we'll see starting this Monday. I mean, we'll get a clearer picture then, but remember, it's way too late once the spoilers have already released. You will see I'd say overnight, but a lot shorter than that, a within the hour price correction either up or down on eBay. And I guess we'll see who's right then. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.